This is $1. Looks pretty small, right? You spend it every day without even thinking twice. But this $1 might be the reason you're not rich yet. The dollar itself is small, that's true, but what you do with that dollar changes your whole future. After this video, you're never going to take small spending lightly again. Let's ask a simple question. When you spend $1, where does it actually go? Most people would say to the store, to an app, to coffee, end of story. But there was another path that dollar could have taken. You just don't see that path, so nobody ever thinks about it. Imagine that dollar was a seed. If you planted it in the ground, it would slowly grow into a tree, a big tree. When you spend that dollar instead, you never get to grow that tree. In other words, with one choice, you lost an opportunity without even knowing it. Now here's the most important part. Money doesn't grow just by sitting there, but if that same money is put in the right place, it grows on its own, and whatever it grows even more on top of that. Here's an example. A snowball rolls down a hill. At first, it's tiny, but as it rolls, more snow sticks to it. By the bottom, it's huge. Your money works the exact same way, if you give it time. Now think about this. If you save just $1 every single day and put it in the right place, in a few years, that small dollar can turn into thousands. This isn't magic, it's just time doing the work. And here's the scariest part. This mistake never feels like a mistake. Spending $1 doesn't feel like a big deal. It feels normal. That's exactly why nobody pays attention to it. But that same small habit, repeated thousands of times, becomes real damage. And by the time people understand this, a lot of years have already gone by. That's the whole story of this mistake. It's not loud, it doesn't make noise. It just happens quietly, over and over, until one day it becomes the difference between barely getting by and living comfortably. So how does this tiny mistake cause so much damage? Let's break it down. First thing, our brain notices big numbers and forgets small ones. If someone tried to steal $500 from you right now, you'd fight back immediately. But if that same $500 disappeared $1 at a time over 500 days, you wouldn't even notice. The loss is the same, but your reaction is completely different. This is exactly where this mistake hides. Second thing, where do these small dollars actually go? Some subscription you forgot about, a small delivery fee, something you bought without thinking at checkout. None of these look like much on their own, but put them together and they become a constant leak, money flowing out without your permission. And here's another thing. Stores and companies know this very well. Prices are always kept just below a round number. Subscriptions renew automatically. A small fee gets added right at the last step. None of this is an accident. It's all designed this way on purpose, because small amounts don't bother us. Now, let's understand this with an example. Imagine two people, same income, same job. One spends every small extra dollar without thinking. The other puts that same small amount into something useful every month for 10 years. 10 years later, the gap between them isn't small, it's huge. Same income, same opportunities, completely different results. The only difference was thousands of small decisions neither of them even remembers making. This is exactly why so many people feel stuck with money, without realizing they're doing anything wrong. They didn't make one big mistake. There's no single bad decision to point at. The damage came from thousands of small, unnoticed decisions, repeated so often they started to feel like normal life. And here's one more thing. The earlier you start, the bigger the benefit. $1 invested at 20 grows for much longer than $1 invested at 30 or 40. The starting amount doesn't matter as much as how much time it gets. So the real loss isn't just the dollar, it's the time that dollar never got. So why don't people fix this once they understand it? Because it doesn't feel like an emergency. No alarm goes off. It's just a slow leak, easy to put off, right up until years have already gone by. And that delay slowly builds a wall that stops you from moving forward. No big crash, no one bad decision, just a slow, invisible wall built one small dollar at a time. So how do you break a wall you can't even see? The answer isn't some huge step. It's a small shift. The moment someone finally takes a close look at where their small money is actually going. And once you see it clearly, something good happens. You don't need to cut out every small expense. That's not possible, and it's not even necessary. You just need to notice which spending actually makes you happy and which spending just slips away without you thinking about it. This is where the story turns from a problem into a method. The method isn't save everything. The method is giving your money the right direction. Keep the spending that genuinely makes you happy. Quietly put the rest, even small amounts, somewhere useful before you get the chance to spend it. And here's why this method works so well. When it happens automatically, you don't have to fight yourself. You don't have to make a decision every single day. The money goes to the right place on its own before your mind even gets the urge to spend it. This is the biggest turning point in the whole story. The person who used to spend without thinking didn't need a bigger income, didn't need any luck. They just needed one simple system that ran on its own, instead of one leak that happened on its own. And the benefit of this small change grows the same way the damage used to grow, just in the opposite direction. The same force that quietly built a wall can now build a staircase just by changing direction. And now, here's the real truth hiding behind this whole story. This was never about coffee, snacks, or subscriptions. It was never about being cheap. It was about one simple truth. Small decisions, repeated again and again, decide your future far more than any single big decision ever will. So what does this mean for you, someone making your own $1 decisions every single day? You don't need to give up your coffee. You don't need to live without spending any money at all. That was never the point of this video. The real point is much smaller and much more powerful. Just start noticing where your small money is going. Set aside a small amount for your future before you spend it. Then, let time do the rest. Because there's one thing worth remembering from this whole video. It was never about the dollar you spent. It was always about the dollar you forgot you could have grown. Before you go, try one small thing. For the next 7 days, every time you're about to spend something small and unnecessary, pause for 2 seconds and ask yourself, is this really making me happy, or is this just a habit? You don't need a perfect answer. You just need to start asking the question. If this video changed how you think, that's the whole point of this channel, explaining the hidden side of everyday money decisions. If you want more videos like this, subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.